Hey Mihir, good morning.
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome, fantastic. I'm so glad you actually, showed interest in this video. I've been waiting for this kind of an opportunity, and
What? You're a good buddy. Anything for you.
it's like the right time to do it because people are all at home trying to research about games, which ones they should catch hold of as soon as they finish, and probably you'll make a lot of people happy with your choice of games as well that they're in your top five. Let's see. All right, over to you.
Before this video,
Hmm.
I know you were mentioning that you wanted me to speak on my top 10 games.
Right.
But I'd like to add one thing
Hmm.
that of eight, this has been a very difficult thing for me to do to make a top 10
Hmm.
because there's so many good games, and as you keep playing new games, the games just keep getting better and better.
Right.
So these days, what I have done is I have segregated my top 10 list into like two lists,
Okay.
like kind of like top 10 thematic games with thematic mechanisms in it, and another top 10 is like just good mechanisms. They may or may not have like good depth of theme
Okay.
tied to the mechanisms, but they are just like good, great games, which I really enjoy. And for that reasons, if I talk about my top five, my number one, of course, is Scythe.
Yes.
Is no
All
no
right.
surprise. To talk a bit more about Scythe, it's very difficult because people already know so much about that game that I wouldn't be adding anything new to that topic. But I would like to tell you one thing that makes Scythe great for me.
Hmm.
I love the tactical aspect of it. Like, I have to constantly be on the lookout of what you are doing and
Okay.
how you're doing, and I have to judge the pace of the game. Like,
Right.
how soon can a game end, and base my strategies on it. Because the beautiful part about the game is, if you end the game, it's not necessary that you will always win. I may even win out of nowhere. Even if like someone else ended the game with 6 stars, which is one of the game and conditions.
Hmm.
I may still win 1 stars.
Yeah.
So it's like how I am able to quickly develop an efficient economy. Quickly develop an efficient economy. That's the thing that I
Those are the
really
key
like
words,
about.
huh? All right.
Yeah.
Quickly
Right
develop
from
efficient economy. Okay, got it.
It's like quick and efficient. It's like two things, to manage together, like quickness and efficiency,
Right.
so that your economy is, your engine is running way faster than other personal engine. That those core decisions in the game, that is what I really like in the game. And of course, it has been enhanced by good components and beautiful components,
Right.
and all the extensions add so much depth and more beauty and replayability. The one little backstory, which is amazing, which makes the game even more meaningful for me.
Okay.
I absolutely hated the game Scythe when I saw the
Okay.
when when I saw the playthrough, when I saw the reviews. I absolutely hated the game. And I'll
Okay.
tell you one thing. I am not. I feel for myself. I can just talk about myself. I feel I'm not the best person to judge a game based on a playthrough.
Okay.
Because many times I've realized that after playing a game, after actually playing a game, sometimes games just surprise me to no end.
Right.
My number two game is Trickerion, Legends of Illusion. So
Fancy. All right.
the funny backstory about that game is that game I played like 2 times,
Okay.
and I did not like it.
Oh.
My first
Okay.
2 times I did not like it. The reason being, with all these heavy games,
Hmm.
if you are met with a teacher who really cannot explain a game,
Right.
okay, especially game, it will just spoil your experience.
Right.
It will just spoil your experience. So that's what happened with me in Trickerion. I was taught in a very bad way, and I was not given good guidelines as to, and it was just a messy
It's a
experience all
beautiful
around.
game. I mean, the theme is like, all magic and illusionists and magicians who are trying to. It's really nice. It's a worker placement game. You go around trying to gather.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
So the good part of that game is, so first of all, the theme is magic, and I've been very closely associated to that theme because when I was in India as a hobby, I was a street magician.
Oh,
Like
really?
David Blake.
Okay. No wonder.
Like that.
Okay.
So Magic was a good, and the publisher Mind Clash game, Mind Clash game. I really love their games. So I'm like, how is it possible that I'm not liking Trickerion? So what I did
Right.
was I borrowed a friend's copy
Okay.
and I went to the rules myself. I went to the playthrough videos, and then I got a good hang of the rules, and then we played it with my friends, and we all just fell in love. I'll tell you why. Because there are like kind of three mini games going on in
Right.
the game.
Right.
So one of the beautiful mechanisms in board game is action programming. I really love that mechanism, action programming. So in
Okay.
Trickerion, what you do is you play your action cards face down, okay, and everybody does that simultaneously.
Correct. Yeah.
So you have to like, what will you play and where will you play it, because every like worker, the card is a worker, has action points,
Hmm.
so uh, so that is a good amount of brain burning experience.
Hmm.
The next part is resolving those actions.
Right.
It does not have to go in a particular order. You can just place any worker of yours anywhere based on what other people are doing and what spots are taken and what spots are not taken, classic worker placement.
Right.
So there are two things. First, planning during your action programming, and then being able to execute that plan. Okay, so
Brilliant.
that's are two big different games.
Hmm.
And then the third mini game comes in the theater, where you are kind of, it's a
Yeah.
mini puzzle where you're trying to put the pieces together,
Right.
the trick markers, and you
Right.
are trying to get bonuses and stuff like that.
It's just
So there's
beautiful. I
lots.
mean, the artwork is epic. It's so
Yeah.
good. It gives you that feeling of Prestige. I mean, the movie Prestige and the other movies, Illusionist and stuff like that. Oh man,
So
the
the so the mechanisms are thematic. They're fun. And so here's the thing. Some people do not like the length of the game. I totally agree with that. That game Trickerion can go for 4 hours.
oh wow, okay, I didn't know that.
Go
Okay,
for sure. Uh, Even in a three-player game, it may go for 4 hours.
okay,
However, you know, I hate 4 hour games. I
okay,
But certain times you're encountered with games where you do not feel time. The 4 hours just pass by as if just 2 hours have passed.
all
Okay,
right. What's the third
so
one?
the third game is Alchemist.
Okay,
So growing up, I was always a fan of puzzles, and logic deduction in Alchemist is done so right. I cannot tell you how much I love logic deduction in the
okay,
game, and I'm just in awe of the designer. How
right,
he was able to pull off a game like Alchemist is beyond my understanding.
amazing. Okay,
So it is possible to recreate something even similar to it. I just don't think so. Even if somebody can recreate something similar to it, I'll be all in awe. Seriously. So this lot. So what makes the game good is, again, it has action programming.
okay,
Okay. It has logic deduction, which is a whole mini game in itself, and then it has a beautiful board game tied to the logic deduction to it. It
Hmm.
has action programming, it has like planning and execution and stuff like that, and then gaming. And what I like is meta game. You game the players. You know, there you can like kind of bluff. By doing certain things and tricking them into thinking what you may have or what you have deduced and stuff like that. So those are fun things to do. You're constantly engaged. You're constantly seeing what's happening. And the beautiful part is, on the logic deduction, is you can also deduce things based on what other people are doing, and then it's up to you. Whether are they bluffing, or do you trust them to have made the right deductions, and can you work or deductions based on that, or you just want to do yourself. And there are lots of underlining layers to it. There's one big layer of that game which is not evident to newer players. That is the the ingredient cards.
Right.
Like a good alchemist player will always keep an eye on what ingredient cards are being taken by others, especially from the open market. So
So you'll already know that, okay, this is what they're working towards.
working on probabilities. You're
Right.
working on probabilities. So you can, and the deduction is so well done. If you can pull up and if you can figure out all the alchemicals and what they are made up of,
Right.
it is such a satisfying feeling, and
Cool, man.
it's just amazing. And,
Should check
and
it
and the
out.
mechanisms are very thematic also, and there are certain unique things done in the game. As you cross thresholds of scores,
Hmm.
you are become more famous as an alchemist. So then there is no scope of making mistake. If you make mistakes, then the game will punish you harder than a person who is not that famous.
So you can't fix
So
your path in the
there's
middle.
lot unique mechanisms which I totally love in that game. My fourth is from my favorite designer, Vital Laseda.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Vinhos Deluxe.
Okay.
Now it was a tough choice between that and Lisboa, but Vinhos Deluxe, that game takes the cake. Is simply because it's a no-brainer. It has two games in one box,
Wow.
two Vital games in one box. You know, Technically it's the same game with the same theme, but
Mm-hmm.
it has two modes. You can play like a beginner-friendly mode where if you want to introduce heavy games to like a person who's never played heavy games,
Mm.
you can play the 16 mode,
Okay.
which has like 80% different rules.
Okay.
Then
Wow.
then the main game, which is 2010 mode, which is like the heavy version of the heavy game. So
Hmm.
so and which is again 75 to 80% different rules. So when a game has two modes and
Hmm.
almost 75% of the rules are different,
Hmm.
I say that it's two games.
Right.
It's not the same.
Right.
It's just a small variant. It's a double-sided board with a totally different game on each side.
Wow.
So 2016, if you want to introduce new players to like heavy games, and 2010, if you want to really play a heavy game, a meaty heavy game,
Hmm.
2010. And the theme is fantastic. The mechanisms are super thematic. It's a tight game with just like 7 to 8 actions or something like that. So wait, there are 6 rounds, and each round you have two actions,
What's the
potentially
theme
more
like?
actions.
What is Vinhos
12
Deluxe about?
So 12 actions, and you have to do so many things in 12 actions,
Oh
and
my goodness.
it's
Okay.
it is super tight. So that's the reason Lisboa just missed out.
What's the theme though? What's the theme of this game?
Winemaking. So you are winemakers
Oh.
in you're winemakers in Portugal, which is the home where Vital Laseda
Mm-hmm.
is from. So it is just done very cleverly. It is just done very beautifully. And of
This
course, it's a Eagle Griffin production. So the components are beautiful. That enhances the gameplay experience. The
cool.
box, everything is just perfect in that.
Okay, amazing. This is something which I'm definitely going to buy. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
excited.
So the last game I want to talk to you is my fifth is Fields of Arle.
Right.
It's it's
Oh.
a Fields of Arle. Now I hate Uwe Rosenberg. I cannot. Yeah, Agricola, Caverna. I mean, it just did not resonate with me for some reason. Maybe it's because of the theme. I don't know. I don't know. They are good games. I enjoyed my playthrough of those, but I somehow just did not get. Those games did not grab me.
Hmm.
Maybe because of the components, or maybe because of the dryness. I don't know. I really don't know why. But Fields of Arle is an Uwe Rosenberg game, which my friend who literally like blackmailed me into trying. And so happy he did that, because not only is that game beautiful with beautiful components, the theme is super strong and the mechanisms are super thematic, and it's super tight.
Okay.
It's a heavy two-player game,
Oh
and it
wow.
can play with an expansion. And each decision tears me apart. Like each time I place a worker, it'll be like, ah, like what should I do, that, or should I do this? Like, it's like whenever I get that feeling, whenever I'm torn within, from my decisions. Like every decision, every option in that game is a good option. Should I do that? Should I do this? That just speaks volumes and tons of a beautiful game. And once you can pull off a good strategy, and there are tons of strategy. Once you can pull off a good strategy, and at the end when you see your board, it's super satisfying. I have had games of that game where at the end I'm just admiring my player board for like 5 to 10 minutes at the end of.
Okay, that's very interesting.
I'm so drawn into that game every time I play that game. So that is an experience, So games that give me such experience and such memories in games, that is why these games are super solid, and I
So the
really
theme
love
of
them.
Fields of Arle is again like agriculture and farming kind of a theme, or?
It is not super heavy into agriculture and farming and stuff like that. It is more other thing, like shipping your goods to far off places.
So more of
and
economics.
all,
Okay.
and and also clearing the lands of all the swamps and stuff like that. So there's lots of other things also going on. And the feeding of the people is not that punishing in that game. It's easy to feed your people in that game.
Oh, okay.
So
it's not like Agricola.
so yeah, it's not super tight as Agricola. Yeah.
Right.
So
interesting. So I mean,
so
these are
those
like
are
completely varied genres of games, Fantastic, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for spending this time. And during the lockdown, this is the kind of stuff that you would want to be talking about, right?
Yeah, and thank you for doing what you do for the board game community in India.
Perfect.
Okay, good luck and luck to you too.